show you how I make some of my tea. Now I have been, what the heck does it say? Okay, sorry, just making sure. YouTube, like, am I really there? Yes. So today I have some chamomile, and this is just a loose chamomile. I wish you could smell it. This is kind of the flavor that I want to really highlight in this tea. And then I have mulberry leaf. If you have a mulberry tree, they are really wonderful. Every animal kind of likes to eat the mulberry leaves, and that's because they are very nutritious, and they actually add kind of a balance. So chamomile is very well balanced, but lemon and, let's see, citrus, perhaps any of the spices like nutmeg or cinnamon or star anise, even licorice, could use a little bit of balancing. And that's why mulberry leaves, if you gather them when they have not yet changed color in the fall, I have some stem in there, but stems are kind of common in many teas, but I don't mind it so much because I use my tea bags that I have in my Etsy shop. These are cotton tea bags. And so I have a small and a large size, and they're reversible and reusable. And what's nice about this is, so when I make a smaller batch of tea, like for my little teapot here, this is a teapot. And if you put a small bag, that works for several cups, 3 to 4 cups of tea. But if you have a larger tea bag, what's nice with these is you can put them in like stews or large picnic size pitchers. Like if you have this full gallon size jar and you're making tea, the larger ones work so much better. So what I like to do is to mix first my tea and get kind of the smell just right. And usually if it smells right, then you've got a good balance there. So we're going to use the chamomile and the mulberry leaves, and then also this mint. And the mint is kind of small. It's in very light pieces, and you will hear, we are on solar here. I'm out at the cottage. There's no electricity. There's no cell phone, nothing like that. So I have the battery going, and it kind of runs a little fan to keep the battery cool. I have 2 batteries going. So my big batteries all died. So I have a small one also for my laptop. So if you guys comment, then I can see what you're saying. Hopefully that's the plan. All right, let me make sure that I have that. Oh dear, it's not going. Hang on. Just trying to make sure that I can see, which I never can. Okay, so we have the chamomile, the mint, the mulberry, and then I have also been harvesting some hollyhocks, and those are the thing that makes this tea really special and really unique. You won't find this generally speaking in the stores. At least I haven't. But what's nice with hollyhocks are kind of my favorite thing, but they don't add a lot of flavor, but they add color. So when you pour your tea into a little teacup here, and I'll show you when I brew this up, it gives a beautiful kind of bluish purpley color, which is really lovely. Oh my goodness, I can never see what the heck it's saying there. Okay. So that's the thing that we're going to do next. So because you want to mix up each batch, we're going to mix it in a big bowl. And then what you do is get that all mixed together correctly. And then we're going to put it into jars, and then we'll brew up a cup. Okay. So let's get another bowl so that we can mix. And I have some hollyhock flowers already in here that are dried, and all parts of the hollyhock are edible. The roots, the stems, the leaves, the flowers. And they don't have really a smell, but they have a lot of color, which is amazing. So what I have been doing, this is going to be our mixing bowl. I'm going to show you. I have over here These are what I gathered last week. And I already have a half a gallon of hollyhock buds all put away. And this is another probably quart. So I'm going to put some of these into our bowl for mixing. And the rest of these will go into a jar like this one, because you want to put your teas into glass. And I'm going to put these, maybe I'll put all of these in here and then we'll mix in that one. That way we'll have a little more space. Now, in addition to mint that I have in that jar, I also collected last week. And these are just, if you look, these are just stainless steel mesh that I put on sticks on this side. And then just, what are these? 1/2 inch by 1 inch. They're kind of wobbly frames. They don't have to hold anything. They're just holding light herbs. And that is really a great way to dry your herbs and garlic or leaves, anything like that, because the air goes through on both sides. And when you stack them up, see, look, when I stack them up, there's space in between. So it's a wonderful way to do it. Now, if you are in more of a wet, cold climate, I'm in the high desert. So what you can do is, if you're in the east or you're somewhere where it's very humid or moist, what you can do is set this by your wood stove or by your regular stove. And that will help to make it more dry, or put it up on little racks and put it near a heater. Or if you have somewhere like up in an attic, somewhere up high where the heat rises, that is really going to give you a lot more airflow and help you to get them more dry in a more moist climate. Here, I don't have a problem. There might be a few weeks out of the year where we have more moisture and snow, but honestly, the joke here is if it's not snowing, it's melting. So we do have 4 seasons, but generally speaking, they are dry. So clean that up a little bit, and I will show you. I also have this, and I don't think I posted the video. I'm really sorry. I have a lot going on in our family right now, and so posting has been difficult. I've been filming, but posting has been hard, so forgive me. But this is catnip, and it has a wonderful smell, a little bit more earthy and not quite as lemony as mint. I'm trying to, yeah, mint itself has more bite, and it has a lot more lemony, citrusy, more of a zestiness to it. Whereas the catnip is a little more earthy. And so I think that would blend well with the chamomile and the hollyhock. So we're going to kind of discard that, and I'm going to go ahead. Now, I don't mind, because I have this big container, or even the individual size. I'm going to go ahead and leave some of these. I am going to leave some of those stems in there and just cut them up. So we are just going to leave those in, because actually for a lot of the mint family, the stems give you a lot of flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those in, but I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces, just like that. And that way, oh, the smell, wow. As soon as you start to cut it or pull those leaves, sorry, there goes the fan again, the battery fan. I better make sure that my battery is holding the Starlink okay. Let me check that. We are good. Otherwise, I'd be having to put a panel out there and throw the whole thing outside. Okay. If you have not dealt with solar before, it's very different. I kind of laugh. Some people will say on the reviews for some items, they're like, you know, this little battery didn't charge my refrigerator for 2 days. I'm like, that little battery isn't going to charge any refrigerator for 2 days. It's a different way of life, but you really do appreciate the grid. I mean, I don't want the grid out here, but the grid does give you a lot of oomph that my solar system doesn't have. If you have money, you know, that solves a lot of problems, but that is not an option for me. All right. Now, I don't want to miss any of these little tidbits here. So I think we need another bowl yet, because I have one with the chamomile, one with the hollyhocks, and one with the mint. So let's get one more. Okay, this is going to be our mixing. So I want the catnip and the chamomile. That's the one I really want to shine through. And then I want the color from the hollyhocks, because they really give this beautiful, just like the color it shows here, kind of a purpley blue, and it's just beautiful. So that's the kind of tea that we're going to have. So we can mix all of that together. Look at how beautiful that is. Just gorgeous. Beautiful. And the smell is really amazing. I smell a lot of the catnip. So I'm going to add some more chamomile. And then to kind of, like I said, I'll just put all the chamomile in. I think that's fine. I might have added too much catnip. Okay, and you can add as many of the hollyhock little petals that you want, because they don't add a lot of flavor. They add a ton of color. So this is going to be a beautiful, you know, I almost wonder if this is going to be kind of green, because you have the blue and the yellow from the chamomile. That would be kind of fun. I haven't done it before. Let's see. So now we're going to add our filler, which is the mulberry. And this just kind of makes your tea go a little bit further. I am going to put that over there. Okay. There. Now, look at this beautiful color. Isn't that amazing? And the smell, you can still smell the chamomile with just undertones of that catnip. So what we're going to do then is save this in a jar. And I'm going to try to make sure that when I put it in, it's mixed correctly, so you don't end up with a bunch of stuff on the top or bottom, which is a problem. If you hand mix your own teas, be sure you mix in a bowl like this first, because if you don't have the tea mixed correctly in the jar, you're going to end up with settling. And you'll end up with all of the big pieces on one end and the small on the other. And then you kind of have to pour out and remix. So when you put it away into your final jar like this, be sure that you have it properly mixed so that it's completely through. I know the sun came through kind of bright right now, but I wanted to take a minute while I had the quiet time in order to film. Oh, I'm filling this too much. Okay, so now we're going to fill the tea bag. And I really love to use these. Now, if you purchase new tea bags from my shop, they are not this color, but they will stain and get a beautiful patina as you use them. So they kind of get different coloration from the teas that you use, which I find beautiful. Okay, I'm going to just pack all that in. And then I will show you how I get this to brew really nice in our hot water. And then I'm going to take all this left over here and put it right on in. That is going to be such a beautiful tea. I wish you could smell, because the chamomile and the catnip was really a nice combo. And like I said, when you add the mulberry leaf in, it's almost a filler that you could use with any tea. You could use it with something spicy like licorice and star anise and rooibos. And you could also mix it with something really sweet like hibiscus and lemon, but it just stretches it a bit further and gives it just a filler. I don't know what else to call it, but It's a really nice way to make your teas last a little bit longer. So there is our beautiful tea. Oh, so lovely. And our bowls are done with 2. Okay. So I just fill a pan with some water, and I just did a video yesterday, or was it last night, with the Berkey water filter. So I'm going to show you what this looks like in just a second. Okay. Now, if you look in the pot like this is where our hot water is going to be. And if you put your tea bag in, because we just mix this, it's going to float. So what you want to do is be sure to kind of wiggle all of your herbs and your flowers and everything together so they're well crushed. And then when you put it into the pot, put a stone on top. And then you put a lid on top of the pot. And that's what helps it all to stay in. You don't want to lose any of that steam because it has a lot of the essence of everything that you just put into your tea bag. You don't want to lose that. So put it on the stove, and then we will put it into our beautiful bunny, and then we'll see what the tea looks like. Okay. So while this is heating, just adding a bit more water. That's the one thing, like I said in the video last night, is I don't like that the Berkey is kind of slow to let the water out. I like water that gushes out. Okay. And I'll show you when this is all done. Okay. Now, another way that you might want to mix your tea. I'm going to show you another one. Hold on one second. So if you wanted to just do something really basic, like I mentioned, you could do a rooibos tea, and this would add the color. Now, the rooibos has kind of an orangey color, but adding the blue in, you almost get a purple if you add enough. So again, this is very fine, like that mint. Why don't we add some of the mint in? Let's just do a small batch. This would be like maybe 2. This might make a gallon of tea if you do this correctly. And I try to keep all of my teas in glass. I had that one from another store and was unable to. That is way too much mint, Abigail. What are you thinking, girlfriend? Whew. I have all mint. Okay. So that's the thing. You'll get an eye. So as you mix, you don't want to have, maybe if I lowered this a bit. There we go. Is that better? If you mix this and you have a very green look in your bowl, then you've probably put too much mint in. Mint can really overtake a tea, and you don't want it to do that. So you want it to kind of blend the color and blend the flavor together. So now we are finally ready for the hollyhocks again. So I'm going to kind of blend those in like that. And this is going to be really good. Now, this would probably be a good tea for, like I said, 2 gallons of workday tea. I drink herbal tea every day, about a half a gallon. So I make mine with these big tea bags, and I put them in this one, which is a 64-ounce bottle. And the reason why I do that, maybe if I pull this down a little bit, I thought the lighting was so pretty and maybe it was too bright before. Well, come on, girlfriend, let's go. All right, how about that? There. Okay, so if I put this in, it can hold one of these big tea bags, and I just put it in the morning, and by the time I eat my breakfast and get out in the work truck, it's already steeped. So you can steep your tea if you want to not use the flame like I'm doing right now with the first tea that we made. You can just, you can put the tea into your cold water and it will, you know, seep. You don't have to have heat if you don't want to, but you will miss some of the nutrients that are in the herbs and flowers will only come through. Hello, how are you doing? um, uh, what you can do is do it the night before, but some things you'll have to play with it because honestly, certain flowers and herbs will get bitter if you steep them too long. Herbs like hibiscus can get bitter. So that's a little bit different. But a lot of it just works just fine. And some things just get more intense. I would definitely say that kumquats and lemon, most of the citrus don't get bitter. They just get stronger. So I think I have this blended pretty well now. Okay. So this, as you can see, is really nicely blended. You want to kind of keep those hollyhock buds crushed, and that's how you're going to get that really even. Oh, I hear the other tea. Okay. Hang on. Get my tongs. Okay. Now, it looks like it needs to sit for quite a while more, which is fine. Here is the, see if I can get it where you can see perfectly. I'm going to move you for just a minute. Can you see in there? Oops. Where is it? Trying not to steam you up, but this is the, this is that. I can't see a cotton picking thing with this phone. They make you film from the front. Okay. See if we can get it there. Maybe? I don't know. It's not working. I'm totally not used to this new camera whatsoever. I'm used to shooting from the rear, not from the front. So my point is, when you get it off the stove, and it's, I do boil my tea. A lot of people say, don't boil your tea. I boil my tea. I hear it boiling, and then I know it's ready to come off. So remove your stone, because that's going to be very hot. See the steam coming off? Very hot. And then I'm going to go ahead and place first the tea bag into the teapot, because this is going to steep a little bit more. And then I'm going to pour the tea in. And already that beautiful color is coming through. And then I'm going to put the bunny's head back on. Now, it is nice if you can do this in a thermos, because it will hold all of that steam and everything in. But if you don't have one, and I'm still trying to find a thermos, they have the, I have a cup, you know, these work nicely. But again, they have a plastic lid. And I don't want a plastic lid, especially with heat. So I guess I need one with a metal top. Anyway, if you don't have that, like I don't, take your little teapot and bundle it up like this. Even 2 towels would be better if I have 2 towels handy. Yes, I do. And then it will stay nice and warm. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you this tea that we did that is for the kind of cold brewing. And I just let this sit, and then I will be drinking this all the rest of today. And so probably, let's see, it's 10. So I'll have this ready by lunch, and then I'll sip on this the rest of the day. So I'm going to put this into the big container. And again, this is going to be enough for 2 of these, which is 1 gallon of tea. I have no idea the measurements. I literally never I never measure a thing. So I don't know. Let's guesstimate. This is maybe 3 tablespoons of tea. And again, the hollyhock buds are going to take a lot of space, but they don't give a lot of flavor per se. So make sure that you have plenty of the little fine stuff of this rooibos and mint. Yes, a little extra. And again, we're going to fold that over so it's ready to go into the container. And that way they never leak. I hate when you're, the tea balls and stuff I find leak, especially with small little fine teas like this. If they're super fine, they go right through. And that I don't like to drink something and have it stuck in my teeth, you know, like chia seeds. It's just, it gets stuck in your teeth. Who likes that? Nobody. So put it in your tea bag. I like the cotton. And again, these are in my Etsy shop. And put that into your container and fill it up. And I do add stevia to mine. Just add yours to taste, and that's really a nice way to have your tea for the whole day. Half gallon. It's herbal tea. There's no kind of issues with it. There's nothing in it that's additives or anything. And that's just because these teas would be, oh my goodness, how much would they be if you bought these made into tea bags? I mean, you're going to get this much for $6. So try brewing it up yourself because it's very frugal way to you can have your tea. All right, let's have a sip of the first one we made, and then I will go out and do my chores. And you guys probably have a busy Sunday as well. Okay, so now we have our beautiful little bunny. So it came out kind of just a darker green. Like I mentioned, the hollyhocks really added depth of flavor, but maybe it didn't go enough. I'm going to post in the community on the post. I'm going to let this steep a little longer. I bet it gets a lot more purpley. Yeah, the chamomile came through really nice, and it just has kind of a back flavor of the catnip. So just be sure when you play with the mints, kind of let them sit as a back note. You want that first sip to be kind of the first flavor that you're trying to push. So it's very hard with chamomile or something very light in flavor, very floral. Those are hard to keep through, except for rose, and that will take over everything. I guess scented geranium too. If you have a scented geranium, those leaves you can pull and use for tea. And that is a really wonderful undertone flavor, but it can be soapy. Same with rose. They can get soapy. And this almost gets darker just as I'm standing here. Yeah, the blue is really coming through. Let me pour this back in. Whoop. Lost his head, bunny. Let me pour this back in. And then I'm going to pour it through one more time. Because, yeah, it has that deeper color. So if you're having tea and you don't pour it all the way through, be sure to cover it again with your towels, tea towels. That's what they're there for. So can you see it gets darker, obviously, the more you steep it, but there is little swirls of kind of that bluish color from the hollyhock flowers. And I just love that. I think it's wonderful. That is a beautiful tea. So I really encourage you, try some of your own, make some tea that you find, if you don't have chamomile and you have a sandy area and you have what's called pineapple weed, it's a really good substitute for the chamomile. Tastes almost the same. Just harvest the little buds, none of the leaves. So you could use pineapple weed, chamomile. Also, I tried last week a chamomile, was it lavender? Yes. And you would think, again, the lavender can come through soapy, but if you balance it just right, it's really a beautiful tea. So be sure to play with them because you can get the flavors to come out really how you want them. I listened to, I wish I could remember what it was, but there was some podcast that I listened to where the guy said he wanted a tea that tasted like the hand wipes when you go to a barbecue restaurant, which I thought was really funny. And so what he used was lemon leaf. And if you smell a lemon leaf and crush it and smell it, that's what it smells like. It smells like the hand wipes at the barbecue restaurant. So if you think of other ways, maybe there's no lemons anymore where you are. I know we had a really bad citrus year this year. And you can use the leaves though. There's not going to be any lemons until next fall, beginning of next year, but you could use the leaves. So that's another option too. So I hope this helps you to start, experimenting and playing with teas in your kitchen. So until next week, hopefully I will do another live again. From my cottage to yours, I'm Abigail from Sprouted Dreams.